Recubbed, a Lion fanfic by Lionkingview. Chapter 9. That's cool, Kion said, feeling a tad lightheaded. Cool? Fully inquired. Yeah, it's sort of... cool? Kion tried to find better words, but just couldn't. So, do you, like me too? Like that? Fully probed carefully. Well, you do look beautiful in the moonlight, Kion said without thinking. I do? Fully blushed. Yeah, and that's cool. Kion incompetently stumbled back to the odd use of the word. The leader of the Lion Guard, now lost in the moonlight, a brave soul, suddenly as scared as a little lamb. What to do next? Fully, the fastest in the Pride Lands, always quick, with a witty remark, now reduced to a kitten, unsure of what to do and say next. So, Fully hesitantly took a step towards Kion as her heart started to beat faster. Kion stepped forward, nervousness visible on his face. The faces came closer to one another until... Hate to interrupt you two lovebirds, but I don't think you would like me interrupting further down the line. A voice spoke out of a moonlit shadow. Both Fully and Kion turned towards the voice, as they instantly gained distance between one another. Who are you? Show yourself, demanded Kion to the figure in the dark. Kovu stepped out of the dark. Kovu of the Outlands. I believe we met before, stated Kovu. Tell us what you want right now, and I won't have to chase you out, growled Kion. I came here to make an offer. I know of your situation, and I know that you wouldn't want the rest of my tribe to know that your king and queen are cubs again, Kovu said with a serious face. I especially believe my mother would take advantage of the situation and attack, he went on. So I offer you to keep the secret in exchange for the right to hunt once a week in the Pride Lands without being chased out by your huntresses, he finished. Are you threatening me? Asked Kion. Let's call it negotiating, countered Kovu. Fully, wake up Kiara. I don't want this to end in violence, and if someone can defuse this situation, it's her, Kion said. Fully did as she was told, but not before giving Kovu a warning glance. Wait, how do you know of Kiara and me? Asked Kovu in surprise. A little birdie with astonishingly great eyesight told me, answered Kion while he kept observing Kovu. Kovu had an odd charm to him, an arrogant kind of smile that could make all the girls and some boys faint. Kion wasn't one of these boys though, but even if he was, this was not the place or time to faint. But even though Kion wasn't interested in Kovu like that, he could still plainly see what his sister saw in him. So, you fancy a cheeky cheetah girl? Asked Kovu with bemusement. None of your business, answered Kion, trying his best not to attack Kovu. The lion had some nerve. Sneaking into the Pride Lands, threatening him, and worst of all, dating his sister. A quick moment of complete and utter panic rushed through Kion's head as he considered the possibility that Kovu and his sister may have had already, but he brushed it aside quickly as being not very likely. Just as Kovu was about to give another snide remark, did Fully and Kiara arrive. Kovu, is it true what Fully told me? You want to force us to grant your hunting rights? Kovu's facial features relaxed, becoming less smug and more at ease once he saw Kiara. Well, sort of. Listen, it's great that you bring me meat for my pride every now and then, but that's not really the same. All we hunt in the Outlands are vermin. It's good to have meat, but it's better to hunt for that meat like real lions do. Is that too much to ask? Kovu finished. Oh, Kovu, that's not even why I'm upset. I'm upset because you want to use two defenseless cubs as a means to that, said Kiara. Yeah, so what? I make demands. If the demands aren't met, I will happily cause a war, said Kovu, trying to sound as sinister as he possibly could. Kiara just chuckled and rubbed her head against Kovu's. Kovu, You and I both know that's not you. Outside of the hunt, you don't even harm crickets. You even told me so, reasoned Kiara. Kovu sighed. I guess you're right. Wait, no, I still have demands. Kovu raised his voice again. Come on, Kovu, we can still find an alternative to this. Kiara tried to reason again. No, I am putting my paw down, and if you don't want to cooperate, you will have to expect an invasion by tomorrow morning, Kovu growled. Kion was about to step in when suddenly an older familiar female voice chimed in. For the elder's sake, can't an old lioness get some sleep around here? Complained Sarabi as she approached the group. Then she saw Kovu and her face went from somewhat annoyed to surprised. Aren't you Zira's son? She inquired. Kovu wasn't sure what to say. He didn't know the older lioness, but she had an intimidating aura to her. Yes, Nana, that's Kovu. He's from the Outlands. But he's not afraid, explained Kiara quickly. That is highly debatable, Fully chimed in. I won't be a danger if I get what I want, Kovu declared. And what would that be, young lion? Sarabi asked patiently. The rights to hunt in the Pride Lands, to a reasonable extent, of course, Kovu answered. What would we get in return? You must have something to offer. Otherwise, you would have come here earlier, reasoned Sarabi. He knows about Mom and Dad, and he will tell his pride if we don't get him his rights, Kion said. Is that so? Asked Sarabi while looking at Kovu. Yes, that is true, answered Kovu. Young lion, do you know who you are talking to? Asked Sarabi. Kovu didn't answer. He didn't know. The acting queen of the Pride Lands. Both Kiara and Kion are too young to lead. I am currently in charge, Sarabi went on. I decide on the fate of the Pride Lands until the king and queen are back to their normal selves. This means I could hypothetically grant anyone any rights at any time, Sarabi said. But I'm not sure if I can trust you, Sarabi said as she looked sternly into Kovu's eyes. Kovu resisted the urge to avoid the queen's stare. Why would I believe you? Sarabi asked. Suddenly Kiara stepped forward. Because I can vouch for him, she declared. Sarabi looked at her granddaughter in surprise. How so? Asked the acting queen. Because we are together, and Kovu already had the chance to abuse this situation. Twice, and he didn't do it, Kiara explained. I will trust him until the end of time, she added, and rubbed her head against Kovu's neck. Thanks, Kiara, said Kovu. Sarabi smiled at the two lovers. Well, that sounds reasonable, Sarabi said. I have a proposal, she went on. For the time being, my son isn't ruling the lands, so I can loosen some of his laws. You shall have free hunting rights within a 5-mile radius of the borderlands between the Pride Lands and the Outlands, declared Sarabi. I will guarantee this for the next 3 days. Beyond that, we'll find a solution, she said. My son can be stubborn, but he's not unreasonable. An agreement will be made after the crises, finished Sarabi and held out her right front paw. Agreed, said Kovu and held his paw against Sarabi's. When all had been settled, Kovu got ready to go back to the Outlands. Kiara and Kovu rubbed heads, and just before Kovu disappeared into the night, he said, Oh, and Kion and that cheeky cheetah girl, you two can go back to doing what you were about to do, followed by a chuckle. Both Kiara and Sarabi looked bemused at Kion and Fuli, whose face turned crimson red. I take it you two finally managed to talk to each other about your feelings, teased Kiara. Hey now, I think we should leave the two of them some space, said Sarabi as she directed her granddaughter back into the den. Once everything was quiet again, the Fuli moved closer to Kion. She rubbed her face against his shoulder, resulting in Kion letting out a quiet purring sound. Then Fuli moved her head slowly up along Kion's neck. Kion could feel goosebumps. His heart started to beat faster as he felt Fuli's breath tickle his fur. Then their cheeks touched, and finally they locked lips. A closeness that felt like nothing in all of existence mattered but the two of them. Nothing else mattered at this very moment. Breathing in the warm breath of each other and feeling their lips close on each other, it was almost a bit too much to take in at once. For a few minutes, both Fuli and Kion forgot about their troubles and just existed for each other. Yet it was clear that tomorrow would come, and tomorrow would be yet another challenge to master. But for now, tomorrow may as well have been in 1,000 years. End of chapter 9.